good to be back. Otis or Sammy, and then
Charity.
from Chuk. Yeah. Now in Chuk, we're in Chuk right now. We're shooting out of Chuk. And we have a guest speaker here. Hopefully, he'll be joining us on a lot of our videos, a lot of the podcasts. I hope so, so we can get more of these out. Chris, you wanna introduce yourself?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. I'm Chris Estocchio. I do a lot of media here in Chuk with TKK Media. It's my media group. And glad to be here. I think our voices here in the Pacific and need to be heard. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Glad to have you. We have some more people that were supposed to come, but we'll have them in for the next one. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay. And then all the way in, where's Yusu at? Is he in Japan?
Where are you, Yusu?
Yep, in Japan. Hey everyone, everyone calls me Yusu. I'm in Japan right now. It's been a while since my last podcast with everyone.
And then we have Natasha in Hawaii. She's still in Hawaii. Okay.
Currently in
Yes.
I believe.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Natasha. Am I going to introduce myself?
Sure, if you want.
Video? You want to? Can you turn your camera on, Natasha?
Is it not on?
No.
Is my camera not on?
No.
No, it's on my end.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's probably
Maybe
just-
just our
our
connection.
connection.
Then. Shucks.
It's on.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah.
There are no problem solved.
It's okay.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you
Well, okay. Well, I'm broadcasting live from Hilo, Hawaii. I work at UH, and I'm from Palau and Koshai, and I grew up in Pohnpei, and I don't know what else to say. I love talking about random things, so it's always fun to get together with everybody, and I'm really glad to meet everybody because it's always strange, just like being very candid and sharing opinions with people I've never met, and that's kind of what we've been doing for I don't know how long now in our separate conversations. I was under the impression that this was going to be a drinking party, so I've started. Which is why I'm kind of concerned.
See,
It was taking a while, and I started getting sleepy. I had to eat something.
Oh
and
man, sorry about that. Yeah.
I'm glad you guys finally got online. Yeah, you said 6, so I was like, I opened it at 5:45, and anyway, I didn't do my homework. My homework was figuring out what I wanted to drink, and it was cleaning up this room. So I'm here to listen to what you guys have to say, and I will share my thoughts. And with that, I'll pass it on to y'all. Skipped yourselves. We heard from Chris, and we didn't hear from.
Oh, I thought. Okay. All right. I'll. Hello. I'm Sammy from Chuk. What am I gonna say? I work here. Been with TFB since the start. I'm interested in everyone else's interests. I don't know. I think when we started off, we didn't know what we were doing, and over 10 years, we still don't know what we're doing. but we're doing it. We test things out. Something looks interesting, and we do it, and it turns out to be okay, or we scrap it. But I like it. I like hanging out with you guys. I think it's fun, and some people think it's important. We have some pretty interesting topics over these 10 plus years, and some people have found it useful. I'm not sure why or how, but that gives me motivation to keep going. I think that's it. And this is Charity.
Hi, this is Charity. Yeah, I'm from Chuk. I work in Chuk. I wasn't with TFB from the start, actually. I was around, but I officially became a part of it. I think it was mostly during the secession time that
Right.
I got into it more. And that was like a perfect time to join because we needed all hands on deck for that one with all the recording, all the sites that we had to visit. And there was a lot more going on with TFB at the time. Projects were coming in. Sad to say that it kind of, this is something that we all need to go back to and try to keep alive because, like Sammy said, there's a lot of people that really do have hope in it because then UH is one of the groups that has been supporting us, and a lot of people have gotten into programs because of TFB, and I really think we should keep it going. People here in Chuk, not everybody knows it, but there are some people that do, and those that do know what TFB is have been encouraging us to keep it going. So that's why we're back after how many years of the last one that was recorded?
I think when we started, I remember Russell always saying, let's just do what we can, and then hopefully someone better can see it and say, I can do a better job. And I'm really happy to see there's so many people doing podcasts now, out of Oregon, out of the mainland, out of Hawaii, out of Guam, and I like it. We're starting this what would you call it, like a medium? Media is becoming a part of the culture, and we're just jumping into it. You know what I mean? And I like it. More voices is always good, and then we're just throwing our ideas out there and sharing it. And there's usually things like that are useful and can be beneficial. Yeah. So, should we start with the topic, or is there something that you guys wanted to talk about?
No. Is there anything you guys want to talk about? Like any topics you guys want us to cover?
Let's throw one up about
Yeah.
about the big one, COVID. So repatriation.
Ooh.
We had our first 2 flights back into FSM. I think Palau already had it. How long ago was that? 2 months ago. Marshall's already had theirs, so we're late. FSM is late to the game in bringing back their citizens. How many came through? Almost 50.
I don't know how much. I don't know exactly how many on the first flight, but I think the second flight had 48
Okay.
plus dignitaries, and I don't know if 48 is including dignitaries.
Man, you said dignitaries, but weren't they? They were quarantined separately in their own personal houses or something like that.
That's
That's
what
interesting.
people were commenting on.
I'm not sure how they're doing quarantines in like Japan and Hawaii, but when I saw that, I was like, that's weird because wouldn't it be safer if everybody just quarantined in one site? Because now you have to worry about the transportation to and from their housing, and then is there a 24-hour? Are we just pinky swearing that we're not gonna come out for 7 days?
Also, what about the family members? I mean, we're in Micronesia. Everybody has like 5+ people that live in your house. So you're kicking everybody else out of your house just so you can come home and quarantine for that long?
That's interesting.
Yeah. And then are they going to be separated? And then are they going to stop doing their daily things if they aren't separated? Are they going to also be quarantined? Or are they being quarantined? That's the question.
Good question.
Because a lot of things I think that it came from was the U.S. ambassador was allowed to do it But she
But
has
that's different because
she has
the
a
whole
huge
family actually
compound.
is moving
and-
here.
Her family.
Yeah, it's her husband, and her daughter. They're home quarantining together, but they came on a flight together. There's nobody else that was that was here that they're gonna join. So that's different.
Yeah, but at the same time, they also have people that work there that are locals.
Oh, right.
You know
Mm.
that you have cooks, you have
Oh, really?
what's that other guards? I mean, I doubt
No,
that
that's-
it's all stuff. You know, there has to be people that are,
Accommodating.
accommodated or that just live on the property the whole time.
Mm.
You know.
But home quarantining, maybe you guys can actually chime in on this one, but isn't it like that in Hawaii and like in the States where people before they were quarantining in hotels and stuff like that, but isn't it a home quarantine now for anyone traveling? Like they don't quarantine or like in hotels. It's basically just you go home and you quarantine at home. What's the flight
Right.
thing?
Well, I think what hasn't been mentioned was usually people are tested before they travel.
Oh, nice.
And so if you're negative for COVID, which I'm assuming these people were tested, right?
Yeah.
These
they
people
were.
were repatriated. They were tested negative. So yeah, people quarantine in their rooms at home and try to stay separated as much as possible. I think it to your point, Sammy, about us being later than Palau, I think that's a relative thing. I don't think people were ready for it, and so to say that we were late and they were on time, I don't think is very fair.
Mm.
But I do feel now that vaccinations have rolled out that it's a different time, it's a different era, and yeah, it's very surprising how vaccines got to Point Bay. I don't know how it is in Truk, but in Point Bay, I hear a lot of people are vaccinated, and that's very promising because I think that's showing that it's time to open up a little bit more and to relax a little bit and to now adjust like everybody's I don't know understanding of this disease. It's not. Oh no, I'm not gonna go that far, but I think I'm very biased on this because I want to come home. I want to visit my family, and I want the country to open up already. If you had talked to me about this a couple months ago before vaccines, I would have been like, hell no, because my family's in healthcare.
Right.
We have, yeah, I mean, I know how hygiene is back home, and so it's like, no, we wouldn't be able to handle it, but now it's like, I heard about these flights coming back and I'm like, good, I feel really bad for these people who've been stranded for over a year, who weren't expecting to be gone that long. Like maybe they had a carry-on suitcase and a cooler, I don't know. But they've done.
Carry-on suitcase. That's redundant.
Yeah.
And a cooler.
I think if they've been tested for COVID, if they've been vaccinated, and like they're following all these measures, like the risk is very low.
Right.
And I think for me, that's how I always understood it. Like what's the risk, right? It's not like 100% risk anymore. It's lowered, and you're never going to eliminate risk totally, and that's just the reality of it. And I get the sense that people are still really, really fearful and not really thinking logically about how viruses spread,
right,
and how vaccines work. Right. Yeah. But again, I'm very biased about it.
That's a good point.
And it's a very contentious topic.
That's a good point when you brought up about people not really understanding how viruses work and how vaccines work, right? So I think the vaccination rate started off really fast. We hit 20% in about 2 months, 2 to 3 months, and then it just stopped. So we're I don't think we're at 30% yet, right? The last time I checked, we were at like 22, 23% vaccinated.
For what? FSM or for choke?
FSM,
Oh,
all of the FSM. So if like we're barely even we slowed down a lot. And then personally, like when I talk to folks, a lot of them say, "Oh, I'm scared I'm gonna get the virus. Right? I'm scared I'm gonna get COVID when I get that when I get the vaccine." Or I don't know, is it worse than there's a lot of fear that I think there's a lot more, just as much fear over the vaccines than the actual virus itself, with many of the folks that haven't gotten vaccinated yet. So, but I don't know how much, can we really blame people? Like, because this pandemic, I don't know much about it also. So, there's so much that I don't understand about viruses, so much that I don't understand about vaccines, right? So, and people are, and not to mention like social media, all these what do you call it, conspiracy theories everywhere. So people are thinking like, oh man, it's gonna alter my DNA or something like that. And I don't know if that's true, but that sounds crazy, right? And I listen to the doctors. I try to follow what they say. My mom's a nurse. She said get the vaccine, but I don't know. It's tough. It's not an easy one.
well, the good news about it though is, at least for Chook, I know that they've charted one of the liveaboards, Odyssey, and they've been visiting because of like that condition they have about the vaccine. It has to be a certain temperature, so they chartered the boat to actually visit islands and
To administer vaccines.
vaccines.
Oh,
I know the doctor that's been administering, actually, she's been like, she posted on her social media like where they've been visiting, and it looked like they're progressing pretty well. I'm not sure if they like completed village by village or if it's just whoever is open to like taking them on board, or I'm not sure exactly. I think that actually that should be something we can look into,
yeah.
talking to them about.
Another problem also is, if I understand it correctly, the plane was a U.S. military plane. Both of them, right? Yeah, the repatriation plane.
Yes.
So, are they going to be doing all of them?
No.
I think that was it. Like it was just they
So
were
it's
just
just
doing two flights to start, but that was because of the ambassador.
Yeah.
coming
Oh
to
wow.
us,
Okay.
yeah. So they offered to bring.
So those two are done.
Yes.
Now what?
I think the idea is to see how this goes, and if it's positive, to move towards United.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, but CIA, like our little propeller planes here in FSM, they can't cover that distance. Yeah?
No. Or I think they can.
Well,
they go to
No,
So
the
it
thing is,
overflies
I'm not
one.
sure exactly
Oh, wow.
how they do it.
But the question is if they're allowed to fly the bomb. Sorry.
yeah.
Because you need like
FAA,
FAA clearance and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. To
Do
fly
you guys
the
know
US.
anything about that? Are they regarding the CIA flight or little aircrafts?
I don't know anything about the CIA, but I was actually gonna go into the fact that they were using military planes and like why that was the case. I mean, considering like I know marshals use United for their repatriation, so and I heard from a few that was on that flight going to Pohnpei that like the facilities inside were not great. Like even the simple thing as using a restroom was a pretty bad experience. I heard.
What, on the plane?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because those
There
are
is no
carriers.
plane.
No,
Oh,
because
no,
those because
that one.
it's made for the military. It's not. It's made
Yeah.
for war and battle. It's not made to.
For use the bathroom?
Yeah, so they were
Yeah,
wondering.
sorry, there's no in cabin entertainment. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, there's no lavatories on the small ones too.
But I
They
think
have
a lot
to
of
get
it
until
was
they land.
There's a
was
bucket.
U.S.
There's a
the
bucket.
US secretary that probably had to do it.
Yeah, but like it's a long flight, and you pretty sure there are like elder people in there that will probably need to use the facilities, and like it's probably not the ideal way to bring people back. That was just my thought when I first heard about.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it was. But
Regarding the fear about, oh,
Good.
Go ahead.
regarding fear about the vaccine, like that's totally understandable because it is still technically an experimental treatment.
Good point.
And I believe they're saying that that might change towards the fall. I think maybe in August. At least UH is talking that way. I don't know if you guys saw in the news, but they are talking about requiring students to be vaccinated for
Oh, wow.
COVID in the fall, but with the caveat that one of them is going to be approved by the FDA as like not non-experimental. But the way that vaccines work, and I'm not an expert, I'm just gonna try to attempt to explain this. Normally, like a normal vaccination that you would get, like if you got a flu vaccine, basically it's usually like an inactivated, like dead form of the virus. Like it's all chopped up. So it's basically pieces of it that they introduce into your body, uh, and it stimulates an immune reaction. So basically, it's sort of giving your body practice with identifying these foreign things that were introduced. And the way that your immune system works is basically they design little molecules that are able to attach to these foreign bodies, and when that process happens, that's when your body is alerted like, oh, there's something foreign because this accumulation is happening. It's being tagged by these things called antibodies. I'm like not doing a very good job.
This is really
Basically the difference between traditional vaccines where it's like an inactivated virus, this new vaccine that we're doing, it's using RNA, which is made up of the same ingredients as DNA. So I think that's why people are mixing it up.
Oh, I see.
But it's not DNA.
Mm.
But it is capable of it's basically like information to make a protein. And so we're basically injecting this synthetic like little code into our cells, and our cells will produce these little proteins that actually are the same proteins that are on make up the spike proteins on the COVID virus. So basically, it's part of the COVID virus. Your cells are making a piece of the cell of the virus, and so you're basically from that, then your body will create antibodies. And once you have the antibodies for that, when you are exposed to the actual like COVID virus, like the big angry one, your body's already like, oh, we know what you are because we've seen this before. We have antibodies that are already used to recognizing you. And the idea is it can wipe out that infection more easily. And the problem with this coronavirus was it was a totally new virus. Like it's never been introduced to humans before. And so when people were getting infected by it, the body was just like, we've never seen this before. We don't know what to do. And you just have really bad infection. And like you just can't fight it. It's kind of, you know, how in flus have wiped out our populations so many times in the past because our bodies have never seen them before. You know, the introduced diseases. So this is kind of like that. So the difference is, no, I didn't do a very good job, but I'm just trying to explain it to like just
Yeah, now I'm even more scared.
I know. Basically, it doesn't have anything to do with DNA.
Okay.
It's only making like a small protein. So yeah, okay. I cannot even go into explain what proteins are, but basically, it's like a little piece of the virus, not the virus, but it's like a description of the virus. It's a description of the virus.
It's like a blueprint.
Um.
Yeah.
Yes, but like a piece of the blueprint. It's like a blueprint for like a leg of a table or something.
Nice.
And not really.
Oh.
But the idea is the body then it'll create antibodies and build kind of arm your immune system with like knowledge of this thing that it could be exposed to in the future. And the truth is you could totally get it. Like it's not saying you're not going to get it, but the idea is when you do get it, you're not going to have such a bad reaction to the virus that you end up in the hospital because you can't, your lungs,
Okay.
can't handle, and you have to go on respirator and you end up dying. Instead, you can kick it like a flu.
Yeah.
I encourage everybody to go look on the CDC. And the problem, I really feel for you guys, because even here, where people are supposedly supposed to know things, oh no, like I think the conspiracies originate from Americans. It's like it's really strange here. The misinformation is really, really strange. The problem, I think, is because it's been so politicized, right? And that's like another can of worms. It's just been so frustrating, for real. And I should be doing a better job at explaining this. I'm so sorry.
That was a good one.
I probably shouldn't have been drinking.
Yeah.
That was an
Yeah.
interesting way of looking at
We're
it.
not-
Should we get the vaccine?
Okay.
Or not? So we should.
But yeah,
get
really to follow up on what Natasha was just saying. A lot of the misconception is that if you get the vaccine, you won't get COVID, which is not the case, like she said. It just reduces the chance of being hospitalized and the severeness of your infection. So it's not 100% like you're good, but just helps you survive even if you do get it. So people still have to like really, still be careful out there about what's going on. And like the whole, I'm not going to get it because it's going to do this to my body thing. It's not just back in the islands. I mean, obviously in the U.S. And now like some states in the mainland are incentivizing getting a vaccine so that more people will get it. So like the state of, I forgot which state it was, but they're like giving out money for people to
Yeah,
get
it's like a raffle.
vaccines. Yeah, and that is really effective, and the number of vaccination has gone up for that state. So I guess they need a weird reason to. And
So I think,
I just actually I saw online in the U.S. It's just a U.S. thing, but people who are anti-mask, anti-vaccine people are now masking up against vaccinated people because they might get it from the vaccinated people, and they're keeping their social distance from the people that are vaccinated. So the people who are so against masks are now masking up and keeping their distance from people who are a lot safer to be around.
that's
So
so.
hopefully that'll develop into wanting to get vaccinated since they didn't want to
Exactly.
mask up in the beginning.
But I think either way we still win, because then
They're masked up.
they're masked up and vaccinated and
Yeah.
actually
And
try
there's
and
social
there's
distancing.
social distancing. So it's kind of like
It's
they're
like-
like they didn't want to get burned, but then now that everybody else is burned, they thought they would put on gas to stay away from being. It's
So it's
pretty
like-
stupid. Yeah,
It's
but
not the
it's cool.
journey; it's the destination.
Yeah, yeah,
It doesn't matter how you get there; just get there.
yeah. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's an important point that Natasha pointed out, that if you get vaccinated, you can still get the virus, right? So you can still transmit it.
Yeah.
That's is that
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Yeah. So that's an important point. 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember people saying like, why don't we just vaccinate all the citizens abroad and then bring them over, because the vaccine will prevent them from
Yeah,
getting
no.
COVID.
That's
So
all
they
about
can't bring it in. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. I think
They're
they
still
can still,
carriers.
yeah, they can still carry it and they can still transmit it. And you're actually going to like kill everybody.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with it, or at least especially from here in like Micronesia, or mostly FSM, because but even like I've never been to Palau, but I don't know how your guys' health system works, but we are nowhere near ready for COVID. I mean, if once we get an active case and the way families and tradition and things go on, it's gonna spread like wildfire, whether or not we have vaccines.
It's a good
Because
point.
everybody that is vaccinated, but they're still weak, and I mean, they don't even have vaccines for children, and everybody, all these,
Oh, right, yeah.
and the elderly as well. You know, we have a whole crap load of that, and I
It's
mean,
we're immunocompromised, like people who have like underlying health conditions that,
yeah.
that's not gonna help.
Yeah, and then also with the vaccine, I think it's at least for me. I guess this is I'm one of those conspiracy kind of guys, or you can call it that. But I mean, they gave Chuk or FSM was one of the first to get vaccinated, and
No way.
we didn't even have. Yeah, we were one of the first on the list to get the vaccines
In the world.
in the world, and
All right.
yeah, but why though? We're not hurting. If you're trying to save people and look at and get an actual number of how much your product is working, you would actually give it to people who actually have are surrounded by COVID.
Guinea
But
pigs.
yeah, not just that, but we're the free numbers. You know, if you think about it. So say we're 100,000, just we're 100,000 in FSM. If you get 70%, which is 70,000 of that, what's that? You have 100% success rate in those 70,000, and then you can throw it towards your numbers,
yeah.
huh? And this is the game and the stuff that people don't look at. It's because they use us to manipulate global numbers, even though we're not that huge,
Ooh,
but it still guarantees, huh?
that is a pretty good theory right there.
Yeah. No, it's just because it's CDC and World Health Organization. They and all these big pharma companies like Moderna, what's that, Gerber or whatever? What's that other one?
Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson Gerber. Yeah, I knew it was a baby brand, something like that.
Gerber is a
Yeah,
knife
yeah,
brand, I think.
Yeah. But they also make baby food.
Yeah.
What's that? So yeah, they use us as not only guinea pigs. That's a good one, but we're free numbers. So how can you test negative when there's no negative? What's that? COVID people and this stuff. And I think that's one of the things, and also yeah, it'll just spread like wildfire. And then from what I understand, you cannot, if you're in an infectious person, you can't get on a flight. So if once we get COVID here or somebody with COVID, you're kind of screwed because your hospital can't support you or save you, and you cannot go to better healthcare because the plane won't take you. But they'll bring the possible infection here, but they won't bring you out if you're infected. So I think that's one of the biggest problems, or why I'm very anti
vaccine.
well, not just vaccine, but just this repatriation now. Because I know the people are hurting. I know people want to come home and visit and see and all of that, but at what cost? Because you all know, how it is. If you guys have been to the islands, you know what your home looks like. You know what we're capable of, and you're already out there now, and you see these hospitals breaking down. First world, New York fell to pieces.
Singapore.
Singapore, these billion-dollar economies with the greatest doctors, and staff and medical stuff, and they're falling apart, and you expect us to be able to handle that. I think that's really hard to really say that a vaccine is going to make us prepare when it's not. They're First of all, they're not following protocol already. On the first ones are dignitaries, and then you're gonna expect normal Joes to come home and do that? No, get out of here. But yeah,
Stay out of here.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, stay out
don't
there.
shit in a cup and call it ice cream and try and feed it to me. Sorry for my language.
It's okay. It's
That's
fine.
a
Yeah, maybe we
very
can.
drastic image.
Yeah. Let's say here's some chocolate ice cream.
mean-
I mean, give me the legit.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You didn't have to say and then call it ice cream. It's just don't share in a cup.
Yeah. True. That also works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Japan right now it's going through a really crazy time with some of the multiple like variants spreading wider in like certain regions of Japan, and on top of that, they have the pressure to host the Olympics. So
What?
there's all, yeah, they're still
It's-
talking
it's still
about
going
this,
on?
and
They're trying to
vaccination is probably still 1% of the entire population of Japan. That's probably only first dose,
Wait, when is the
and
Olympics?
It's supposed to be
it's
summer.
if
It was supposed to be last year.
end of July, That's what they're
That's
saying.
around
But
the corner.
yeah, so I don't know what FSM is gonna do in terms of Olympics. Whoever is participating.
Go
That's
out
something
and never
else
come home.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just glad that vaccination is rolling out in Chuuk because my parents were able to get it over there. I haven't seen them for almost 2 years now because they were thinking of coming out to Japan, but they were worried that they can't go back in, which was the case even till now. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes too.
Yeah, no, I'm grateful we have it. I mean, because a lot of people want to leave for other things, family, pursuit of happiness and whatnot. But I mean, at least we have it here. But I'm just saying that I don't think that just having that is an okay to open up. And then I know other people are hurting, but us, a lot of our citizens. But at the same time, what is that percentage to the percentage that is currently here at home? And is it really worth the risk?
Yeah,
You
with
know?
the way like homes are here, the islands, you can't isolate. And like for us, it's our homes are. It's not just ours. It's not just immediate family. It's extended family that stays with us. There's so many more. There's people that are in and out of our homes, and once it hits a household, it's a domino effect. You can't control it. It's the same reason why the flu wiped out so much of our population. We have the flu going around with one child. It spreads to the whole family and more. And it's because I don't know, that really scares me too. Especially just the idea, even if they were how they were saying that they were quarantining at home,
Self-quarantine.
self-quarantine. You just don't know. One small thing, one small mistake, and you risk the whole population of the nation.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating because they spent all that money and all that time on quarantine sites and training, but then it wasn't just one dignitary that came through that did quarantine in the quarantine sites, right? It was multiple.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know. Did they practice taking them from the airport to their house? I don't remember seeing them practicing that, and then from the vehicles to their homes, and who's allowed to go there? Are they being under surveillance 24/7?
Yeah.
Can they go outside? I don't know, and I don't know. it's a little frustrating, but I don't know enough to really say anything more. But from what I do know, I'm a little upset that they didn't just quarantine with the rest of them because they put so much effort into those quarantine sites. You know what I mean? Like that's the. Go ahead.
No, I'm with you on that. Sorry, I
Okay,
just.
go for
I,
it.
yeah.
Itching to say
No,
something.
it's. So if it's so good for the people, then why not? Why not for them? Because they're politicians, you know, because they're leaders, so they should get the special treatment. Like I'm so with that. That if why go the other route when you should choose that way and show people, because you're supposed to be above.
Right.
You're supposed to be the example.
Right.
So why are you gonna? So when people come, they're gonna come back and be like, why can't I just go home like, you know, my representative or leader or, you know, senator or whatever, you know, title they want to call themselves. But
So let's say that everybody that comes back goes into the quarantine sites. Then you'd be okay with reopening?
no,
Really?
no,
Okay.
not yet. Well, I think first of all, since Pompeii already opened, I feel that we should close our borders as a state. All the other states should close.
Chuk?
Yes, Chuk, Koshrai, and Yap, because Pompeii's the one with all the equipment and resources right now. We don't. We're nowhere near that. I don't know where Koshrai and Yap is, and if they're ahead of us, then good for them.
So
They can choose it.
you're saying close from anyone coming from Pompeii?
Yes, because in the way things work already, they're kind of contaminated already. If you were to play it out in disease and all of that, once you get a break, you're contaminated and everybody's questionable. You know, because that person could go, that person, boom, 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 and you know. So first, I'd say cut
How
them
is
off.
that logical though? Like, how is that logical? I gotta ask, how is that logical? All those people tested negative, right? And they tested negative in Pompeii. So where's the contamination?
Well, but with that, it's they're still able to carry and bring it in. So isn't it still? Is it the
But they don't have
possibility of contamination is still there? Do you not think so?
How?
So you're telling me that
No, I
them
don't.
coming on is 100% non. So the vaccine itself isn't 100% not.
No,
What's
but
that?
there's also no, but there is a window of opportunity though when they get vaccinated, when they get tested, and when they board the flight. Because when you get tested,
Didn't they get tested
you get
in
tested.
Pompeii?
You get. But that's what I'm saying. Like you get tested when you come. If you come in, there's that person that was tested positive in Pompeii, and then they said it was. They called it something like
Oh, from the ship.
from the ship. That's
Yeah.
what that's the
Ship
part that I still cannot understand till now. How
Right.
was it
I think he had
WHO
it.
or CDC that ruled it? What was the phrase that they said?
I
A
don't-
past infection.
Yes.
Yes.
Because
I
there are
think-
different types of tests.
Mm,
So what he was showing was he had a past infection.
right, but he didn't have
That's
it. He wasn't
what
carrying
he
it.
was testing positive for. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was
Yeah.
like basically inactive. But like, see that's just what I was where I'm saying like there's a lot of window of opportunities that because we don't know much about the virus at all. Like we were learning about it, and we are like they're trying their best to be as safe as possible, but there's so much more window of opportunity that could happen when they come. Like same thing like how they were saying with like for how you say like Singapore had like they practiced it too. Like the whole country was doing so well in practicing, but their numbers were increasing just
So-
as much.
So is it safe to say that you don't have faith in our what do you call it? Our what do you call the people that are handling this?
Testing.
Right. Also, our health department, you don't have faith in them, and then the people handling the quarantine, you don't think that they have this down on lock.
No.
I think they're still learning.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
everyone in the world is still learning it
Okay.
because
That's
this is the first thing. This is our first test, and this is their first test that they're going to be doing. And the reason also that I have no faith in our own like system is because I've seen them trying to do the drills here in Choke,
okay.
and they suck. I'm
But-
sorry, but they suck. Like for example, hospital. Who lines up beds ahead of time of the drill? When something happens, your beds are not lined up at the hospital. They're all tucked away. Like you have to rush it out. But everything seemed well planned. So drills came out a lot better than it should have. Drills are not supposed to be perfect.
You're not
Drills are
to be
supposed to
aware.
be filled with so
Yeah.
many
They were
mistakes that
prepped.
you improve on.
Oh, so like they were.
And this is not COVID. This is just things that have happened, like based on flights, the flight that crashed, and like
Oh, yeah.
fire situation.
The Airbnb flight, yeah.
Yeah, like it just
Oh, yeah, right.
we're not
Families.
prepared for disasters,
Store
and
burning.
exactly, if we're not prepared for disasters, and they don't show any kind of
Uh,
like
I think
working system, they're still learning. So I don't have faith. I'm hoping that'll be changed.
I think I'm in the
Not right
minority.
now.
I'm on the other side. I think if they get tested in Guam and they're good, they get quarantined for 7 days, they board the flight, come here, they get retested, another 7 days quarantine, test negative. I think they should be let out. I think we should open up and then, but we start with one thing, and then if they pass their tests, if they fulfill their quarantine time, then they get released in Pohnpei, and then Caroline Islands there can start repatriating them to their desired state. I think that's how we should do it.
Yeah, I was with that until this incident happened, though.
With the
With the
delegates.
the delegates. So I mean, I'm for
I feel
that.
you, man.
You know, it's cool. But if you're on the first flight, it's already not going the right way. Then, I mean,
But
it's
that was
really
her
wicked.
plane.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's not her island.
Right.
This is not her nation. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, so like an example with the quarantine status is this is the way Japan's been doing for the longest time. Regardless of you being vaccinated or so the requirement now is that vaccinated or not, you still have to take a COVID test 72 hours prior to the flight. And then you arrive in Japan. At the airport, you get tested again. After that, you are required to quarantine for 14 days
At the airport.
at whatever, not the airport, but whatever site that you're going to be at. So it could be the hotel that you're going to be in. If you're a Japanese citizen, then your home or your family's home, whatever. But you are required to do a 14-day quarantine, even after 2 tests, and even though you're vaccinated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Might as well just get COVID, man. No, I'm just joking.
And to make things even harder, like you're not when you get back from overseas into Japan, you're not allowed to take the bus or the train or a taxi. You have to hire a special like charter taxi to take you from the airport to wherever you're going to. So public transportation is completely out of the question.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just want to backtrack on what I said. Like I totally empathize with you guys's feelings about this. I was talking with my sister the other day, and she's of the exact same mentality. She's like, we're not ready. And she was, yeah, basically you guys are saying the same things she was saying. And it is part of the situation. Like everybody's reality is different. And so you guys are speaking from your location, and that's the reality there. But and I'm speaking from my location and my living situation. It's totally different here. Regarding traveling, so I traveled from Oahu to Hawaii, and I just had to do. I didn't even have to take a COVID test, but I did one anyway because I'm visiting my elderly auntie and uncle. They're in their 70s, and I just wanted to do it for peace of mind. But they're no longer requiring that if you've been vaccinated. Yeah, so like I hope I'm not offending anybody, but it's just I I don't think it's this like invincible thing, like this scary thing that is just ever present, that it can like pounce on you from like your I don't know, your luggage or your clothes. It's not, that's not how uh viruses are transmitted. Even like with flu, like it's from like someone sneezing, coughing, you touching your eyes. Like it has to be transmitted. And if you're tested, and if it's a PCR test, which is the very sensitive one that they do it with a swab, they can also do it with a blood test. That's very specific, and if that's negative, it means you don't have it. It's not like it's hiding somewhere. There are chances that the test could have some fault with it. Maybe the person administering it, maybe it was an expired test, but that's like those are statistically small, I think, and
Right.
I think I guess I'm a little too um, biased with the science. But I think what I've learned, if anything, this is much more a psychological thing than uh, than anything. That's what is becoming more clear.
Interesting. Would you say that
I guess education.
would you say that people are overreacting?
Overreacting? I do think so.
Really? Ah.
Whoa.
I think I did think my sister was overreacting. So what happened? So I'll talk about. Sorry, sister, but when there was that the ship that came to Point Bay with the guy, right?
Yeah.
And like him being transported from like one place to another.
Right.
She was so scared that somehow someone would get infected along the drive. Like she just had no faith. It sounds exactly like what you guys are saying. No faith in the people who are supposed to be monitoring these things. But to me, it doesn't make any sense how you could get infected when something is like not even, you're not interacting personally with the person who might not even have it, and then who turned out not even to have had it.
Okay, here. This is how.
So
he's in the car ride, right? And he blows his nose and he throws it out the window. And it hits someone in the
unless
face. And
that
they're like,
thing,
What is
unless
this?
you picked it up and then like put it in your nose or ate
I've
it
seen it before.
or put it in your eye, then I don't think how that
It's
would
highly
have.
possible.
I've seen it. But yeah, okay, yeah.
He
Okay,
like
so-
projectile spit it into your mouth. Yeah.
Okay.
But
new scenario.
that's just my opinion.
You're giving me goosebumps with your scenarios.
Okay, alright, okay, I feel it.
What? So what? My question is, what would make you guys feel comfortable opening up again, or do you just want to stay closed like forever? Because to me, that doesn't seem
No.
like
No.
No.
So yeah, okay, that's a good question. So,
right.
Yeah, what's the threshold? When should we open up? If now is not the time, then
I think this is a
What-
perfect way to test it, really. But it's really hard if not everybody complies with whatever they work so hard to accomplish. And it makes the people a lot more fearful when they don't have the answers on why they're doing what they're doing. Like if they do okay, because so each state is working very hard to the best of their abilities to be able to bring home our own people. So if they do that and our own dignitaries come home and they don't comply with whatever regulations they set forth, why aren't they at least speaking to the people to explain themselves? Or at least address it. If they are doing something about it, put your people at ease. Let them know what's going on. Like that could actually help result like smooth over whatever panic they're having. Like, why is the president the only person that's speaking out to the people when there's so many others, even the people themselves that are going against whatever regulations were set forth? Why isn't there a press release of some sort explaining themselves or something?
So they didn't explain why they're self-quarantining. They just said that they were.
Well, I don't think anyone actually did. I don't think there was any official thing. It was just people panicking.
Was that the original plan for them?
That's the thing. We don't know. Nobody, like, all we know was they had. The only official thing they said was there was a place set up for quarantine
For everybody.
and then the people started posting, like, they were panicking, like saying that they're seeing
People being driven out.
being driven to a different location and they're going home and things like that, and there was no explanation whatsoever. And I think that's the biggest thing, because if we're moving forward to one thing and one person goes another way, it causes panic, it causes people to question everything. And yes, it's true, we will never be 100%, but nothing in the world will ever be 100% when it's something that we don't understand. And I don't have a lot of faith in our system, but I am hopeful that for every mistake that they do, hopefully they'll learn from it. We also have new administration. Hopefully things will be progressing a lot more differently than it was. I don't know. I hope things will be different from the first time around, because face it, we've never been here. This is the first time we're gonna do this.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I wanted to hear, Natasha, do you think we're ready to reopen?
Oh, I cannot answer that question. I have no idea. But I will say that, health information is confidential. Like, people shouldn't be talking about a person's medical information. So I don't know if that's why they're not sharing information. I think what's happening is maybe communication problems. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Maybe sounds like competency is a problem. But generally, like here, like they would never share details. If anything, they would say there was one case and that's it. But like, imagine if you had it, like, you wouldn't want that broadcasted and then everyone is going to know that you had COVID and then whatever stigma is attached to that. So I don't think that's what's happening there, but maybe that's part of it. I also know misinformation is a big problem. So I do know that things take time to vet, especially if it's coming from an official source.
Right.
I don't know that, I'm assuming, actually. So I do understand when things take a little bit of time to come out from official sources, and I do understand people want to know, like, now, because they're panicking. And I don't know. And I can't answer that question.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would ask you guys, and I think it's a very resounding no. Y'all aren't ready, and so then the answer is no. You're obviously not ready, and that's totally okay.
No, actually.
But I would encourage the vaccinations. I understand the not wanting to be a guinea pig. I totally get that. But if it makes you feel any better, I'm fully vaccinated. I don't know. Like, I think maybe it was fine to.
Not yet.
Yeah, but why though? I understand.
We actually.
For repatriation.
Right.
But right now, I think. I mean, if it happens, then it's all my fault. But
Okay, wait. So why are you not vaccinated? Both of you are not vaccinated, right?
I just haven't had the time to go, but I am.
Come on.
I'm anti.
You're anti?
Yeah, I don't want to be a guinea pig, just like that. Like if kids can't take it, then why should I believe I have a Yeah, no. But I'm just saying though, like kids and the elderly. So I actually know that I should be okay, and I'll probably pass. But then at the same time, it's a lot of psychological with it, and I'm like I said, I guess you could say conspiracy,
So you're
but I'm
not
very
going-
anti. No, I do want to, because I do plan to fly, and I know I need to fly, so I needed to leave and
vaccination card.
Yeah. So I was thinking about it, but then I was like, shoot, we're not gonna open up for a long time, so until we open up, then that's probably when I'd probably get vaccinated, because then I would know I would be able to come back.
Dude, man, I got vaccinated day 2 when the when the vaccine.
Yeah, we were there day one. We
Actually,
recorded day one. Me and you.
I went up to get vaccinated, and then I was returned because they ran out for the day. And then
per
not
day.
the day actually. They were waiting for the release of the ones that they just got.
First day 1.
No.
Oh, I'm
This is
sorry.
right.
Because we
2
had to
weeks,
be
3 weeks
vaccinated
deep.
after the essentials.
Mm.
So we went up after that, and
Man,
a lot of us got returned because they were out of it.
my thinking was get vaccinated as early as possible. Give my immune system some time to train up. Like get ready, get ready for if it actually breaks out. Because I don't know, I'm weak, man. I get the sniffles like every year, so I want to be ready.
Yeah. I guess I'm not like that as much, so I just
We need
Yeah.
to talk
yeah.
off camera.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
But I'm
the
not
topic of
anti-
open.
Mm.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So on the topic of opening up, right? Like when we right here right now talking about opening up, are we just simply saying opening up to our citizens, or like eventually opening up to the world? Because how long do you think will take? Say this kind of is because of my family business as well, but how long do you think tourism will get back to where it was at least?
Oh,
Oh,
the world scale, that everybody's screwed. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
United is billions of dollars down the street. We don't even know if they're gonna exist
Mhm.
in a couple of years. Just to be honest, it might be a whole new, the smaller planes or something. So
Drones.
yeah, drone taxis. So I think to even speak of tourism that's hard. I mean, maybe
There's
if
gonna
you
be a
talk
lot of
like
businesses.
agricultural stuff, things that are more essential, then maybe we could. But I think that's more of a luxury. I mean, other places are bouncing back really good because, I mean, everybody
Yeah.
will had that cabin fever, so I guess that would help to an extent. But I
Is-
know, at least right now with Guam's been trying to move back to bring in tourism and all of that, and that actually, I think CDC or it was WHO gave them like a level 6 rating.
What is that?
It's like don't travel here because
What?
it's highly
Guam.
Guam. Yeah, that was just this week. So if you're talking about tourism and tourism, I believe is less than 10% of our GDP. So I really
10%.
doubt that. Yeah, or even chip.
Wow.
So it's really not a huge thing. I think at
Not
least on our
priority.
it's not a huge priority for us. I mean, I think it is important, and I know that it matters, but it doesn't matter as much as a lot of other things.
That's
Hmm.
that's tough.
But if you look at aside from that, everyday life is pretty much the same, though. Just to be honest, for the normal citizen,
Yeah.
I would say, everybody's still going fishing. This guy's still cutting his bananas and farming his lands, and nurses are still nursing, and whatever they do. Majority of the people are still. I'd say over 80% of the population is still doing the exact
Yeah.
same thing that they were doing prior to COVID. So, or that's just what I see. I mean, I know stores are getting hit. People, a lot of stuff because your suppliers are outside. So, I mean, I doubt that opening up would really make a big difference to that because also the majority of your um, of their income is still from the people that are here, and the people that aren't working, majority of their maybe with the stimulus, I guess the way the U.S. and everybody out there's being affected might affect us more, just because we get a lot of remittances. I think that's going to be the difference. But
The one area that I think will get affected with is skilled workers. You know, we need to
importation.
we need to start bringing in some skilled workers because not just doctors and nurses, but engineers, you know, electricians, all the skilled workers that we need. So a lot of them are not citizens. So going back to Yu's point, so how should we do it? Should we start with the citizens, get them home? What about skilled workers, and then people who are considered essential? You know what I mean? So that's one area that businesses are hurting with, trying to get back some skilled workers. You know, some accountants, you know, some electricians, as I said, technicians, engineers, carpenters. We need them back. We need help.
Yeah. I had a talk with this guy. He's kind of helping out with the national level. Sorry. And what they were saying was, as far as repatriation, the idea was citizens first, the stranded ones. You know, not just any citizen. You have to, you know, proof of residency and you know that.
Right.
Sorry.
So it's the people that were trying to get back, but then they got stranded.
Yes. Like the ones that went out for medical,
Right.
for work. That like their office actually sent them out or visits and you know other stuff.
Not people who are living out there.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's the first one. That was the first goal, and then after they're all in, and everybody that left that does want to come back gets there, and then the second was for the skilled workers, and then also the consultants.
Consultants.
Yes, because those are also, I think we consider them skilled workers because like engineers to move along a lot of our grants along, and because there's a lot of money that
like for example,
that is gonna expire soon because of the way the grants are set up. So
it's like grant writers.
Yeah, well, no, not really grant writers, but more so like
how
for example, with
is going
CPUC, there's a lot of like geotechnical survey guys, geologists. What's that? Water. I forgot. Hydrologists. Yeah, like different kinds. But then it's not just them. But then also World Bank's supposed to redo the port,
There's
so they
actually
need
a doctor
engineers for that.
the WHO that's stranded that's supposed to come to Chuk.
Yeah, and then also we need doctors too.
Yeah.
Because if we want to open up really to the masses and all of that, we need actual like doctors that are able to deal with this. I mean, I'm not hating or degrading any of our doctors, but first of all, we don't have enough.
Yeah.
Right now, the ones that are here now, sometimes you go in and there's just nobody on duty, or they're switching out, or the doctor that's there is like tired because he just ran like how many, or she just ran like multiple, like 3 back-to-back shifts or something like that,
Right.
for 3 days in a row or something like that.
And imagine if COVID.
Yeah, imagine if COVID were to stuff. We're screwed, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. For that part. So yeah, I think I lost it. I was talking about
Skilled workers.
Repatriation. So yeah, I think those are the three. Is that, and then residents, what's that? Skilled workers and stuff, and then maybe the rest of the world to be allowed. I think that was the 3 steps. Not like within the time frame, but I think that's
the goal.
yeah.
Did they give
sequence.
a timeline?
No.
But that's a time frame, but no timeline.
Yeah.
So we don't.
But I also
I don't
think
think
that
they'll
what
be
they're
able to
doing
do
is every flight, I believe, is probably just a test to them, because we really don't know. So they're probably doing these first 2, and then do that, and then maybe while they're bringing people in, they can start testing out there and see, okay, so we actually did good with this. And then we can also say, okay, we messed up letting those guys out. Maybe we shouldn't let people out.
Do you know if
Because-
United is on board to help us out?
I think United is probably most likely on board because they're making $0 right now. Yeah.
Okay.
From a business standpoint, it sounds better.
Yeah.
But then you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm just gonna say one more thing.
Go,
I'm just
let's
gonna say
go.
one more thing about vaccines, or two more things regarding them not giving it to kids. They're giving it to kids now. It's been they're allowing, at least here in Hawaii, I think ages 12 through 15 to be vaccinated. So my daughter got her first vaccination today, and I'm
Nice.
very happy because she needs to start catching the bus again. I can't keep no. This it's been crazy. And the second thing is, like, just from my personal perspective, I can tell you, having been vaccinated, this huge weight has been lifted. Like, it's not scary anymore. Like, I'm not scared of this thing. So if like I didn't get vaccinated, then I would still be like deathly scared, literally deathly scared to catch it. So that's a psychological benefit that I've had, and the side effects are very mild. I had the Pfizer vaccine. The first shot, I didn't have any side effects. And the second one, maybe a little lightheadedness and then soreness. And then the second one, I was a bit sleep deprived because it was a very busy week and I was dehydrated, admittedly. And it just felt like I had a really bad hangover because I think I should have taken a nap. Usually people say they get tired. And so I was tired, but I didn't sleep. And so I just felt like I had a hangover. I was like, I had a headache. And I did have some pain in like my neck on the side that I had the vaccine on. And I think that was my lymph nodes, which is part of your immune system, kind of like being activated and working a bit hard. So it was a bit tender. And for a while I was a bit concerned that maybe I was having like thyroid issues, but yeah, that was it. That was basically it. So I totally respect your conspiracy theories. I do have a conspiracy theory of my own as well, and it's about the origin of the virus. I think it's quite plausible that it might have been originated from a lab.
Yes.
So, but we don't have to go there.
No,
I'm not
let's
really
go
ready
there.
to talk about it yet. No.
What lab
I
is
can
this
also talk about
in?
aliens if you
That's
guys want
something
to.
that a lot of people are talking about too.
Yeah.
You're not the only one.
Isn't there
Yeah,
a
so-
lab in Wuhan that tests for viruses just like this? Coincidence?
Exactly.
Right.
Yes. No. I think not.
Or we can go there. Like,
But yeah,
it's,
you know.
it's plausible. I think
Oh,
it
and
happened.
another thing I was gonna say about vaccines is they are saying that if you are vaccinated against it and you do get COVID, regarding like being able to transmit it to other people still, they do say that you're like the viral load that you generate will be lessened because you're not like full COVID, and so your infection potential should be decreased because you wouldn't be like as sick and as contagious. That is what they're saying.
Okay.
And it makes sense to me, but what do I know? So the idea is the more people are vaccinated, then
Herd
the
immunity.
safer everybody is.
Oh.
Exactly.
What's the herd immunity threshold?
Okay.
70%?
Not sure. It's
60%?
Kiro, can you look at it? I was waiting on you to try that.
I've heard 70.
Yeah, I do remember it was around 70 some percent.
What is herd
Sorry, I just wanted to try
immunity?
that. I guess it doesn't work.
I think it's about like 70%. Yeah,
7% for herd immunity.
about 70. There's no way we're gonna reach that. Not this year, at least.
Yeah.
Because we're stuck on 20. almost we're barely making 30%. So, and what, it took about 4 months.
I think it's also hard. I don't know. Does it count for us if we don't have the virus though? How can you have
If we
herd
open up.
immunity? Yeah, if we do
If we open up, yeah, we'll be ready.
I think we should just wait for a cure.
A cure.
Can
There are no cures for
for
virus.
viruses, right?
There are no
We can
cures
just
for the
build up our
flu.
immunity for viruses.
You get the flu.
Oh yeah.
I think that's
You
how
treat symptoms.
Okay.
the
No.
cure is death. Yeah.
Maybe that'll work. We'll see.
You guys have anything else you want to say on the subject? I think I've said everything I needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Next.
Can we
Oh,
move?
how are you
actually-
guys?
Oh, go ahead.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we move on to just one topic before we we part ways? I wanted to talk about the shooting death of the 16-year-old boy in Hawaii. Iremamber Sykap. The body cam footage. If you guys haven't seen it yet, you guys should take a look. I don't know how HNN Hawaii News Now obtained body camera footage of one police officer, but they did, and they released it. And man, it really it was not good. It was what we feared, because so if you guys watch the video, right, it looked as if the police officer wearing the body cam. Okay, so he jumps out of the squad car. The kids who were the suspects, they stopped their car, and then the cops surrounded them. So the one officer who started shooting, I think he shot off 10 rounds, 10 shots, and he shot from behind the car. Is that what you guys saw also?
Yeah.
So he shot into the car from the back. So when I was watching that, I don't know anything. I'm not, I'm not a police officer, but I'm just, when I was watching that, I didn't understand the reason to shoot into the car from behind it, and the car was stopped. And one police officer, it looked like he managed to open the car door, the passenger side, and it looked as if there were other police officers on the other side. So another point is, so you have two police officers on the driver's side and the passenger side, and then the one who was behind the car is the one that shot into the car first.
With the worst vantage point.
He had the worst vantage point than the other police officers. The other police officers were closing in on the car, and it looked as if they opened the car door to have some of the kids get out. But then this guy just jumped out, and then he just started shooting. 10 bullets, 10 shots, and then I don't know, it doesn't look good for HPD, because the other thing that I suspected was when the police chief, the day after the initial shooting, when she laid out the scenario, right? There was, and she said something along the lines of, there was a car chase, they went down the wrong side of the street, right? During this time, they rammed police cars, and then there was a shooting, right? No, she didn't say, and then there was a shooting. She said, during this time, the police officers shot into the car, right? But that wording, I think that's the exact wording, during this time, or around this time, the police officers shot into the car. When you say during this time or around this time, it doesn't give you a clear, a clear timeline. What happened first? The driving down the wrong side of the street, ramming the police cars, or shooting, right? And also it falling into the canal. So I don't know, it seems from how I'm looking at it, it seems like HPD is just trying to cover their own ass.
Yeah.
That's how it looks like to me. And I know the problem with this also is, a lot of the locals, a lot of the local community, they're on the side of HPD. You know, understandably so. They said the kids or the boys, they're criminals. They were putting everybody in danger. So the cops were just doing their job. I get it. You know, I get it. Like you're worried, you're concerned. You wanted it to stop. Sure, but should they have killed them? Should they have shot 10 rounds into the back of the car? After the car stopped, was that really the way to end it or to approach the situation? I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. But you know, I'm not a cop. I don't understand their training. I don't know the protocol. Is that what they're told to do? You know, if you believe that the suspect has a gun, as soon as you get a clear shot, take it, because that looks like what they did. You know. Sorry.
Did the kid have a gun though? Or did they have any firearms?
They had a replica gun. I think that's what they called it. But what does that mean? Like, is this a replica gun?
Yeah.
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Right. What about this? Is this a replica? Right. Is it an actual gun?
Yeah.
Can it kill someone? Can it cause harm? What does replica gun mean? You know, I don't know what that means.
Or is it a toy gun with the orange thing at the tip? Because that's
Yeah.
What
does that mean? What does replica gun mean? So, I don't know. But you know, the argument for that would be the vehicle's the weapon. You know.
Yeah, but the vehicle, you already stopped the weapon. So why
Right.
are you still? And there was nobody in front of it. That's why they flew straight into the water.
Into the canal.
Sorry. Did you guys see it? The video that
Yeah.
Sammy's talking about.
Do share.
Yeah, you got that Natasha's there. Well, she's in here.
She looks like she wants to share.
Attack.
Do I? I did see it, and I don't know if my eyesight is bad, but I couldn't tell what happened from looking at that video. It definitely contradicts what I had originally thought, which was that they rammed police cars. That was very obviously not true. But I couldn't see anything definitive. Really, what I'm more interested in is the witness testimonies that they refer to in one of the articles that I think it was the same article that they talked about the body cam. But what's so many things to address here. It was very unexpected that they had that footage because we had just heard news from the prosecutor's office that they wouldn't be releasing it until they had determined if it was justified or not. It is interesting that it was leaked right after the footage was given to the prosecutor's office. So who is releasing this? But it's very alarming to me because it seems like releasing it would jeopardize a fair trial should the prosecutor choose to pursue action against the shooting officers. So it's like, it's very questionable, like, why was this released? I think I mentioned it in our other conversation, like, I totally understand wanting to know what happened now, but that's not how things need to happen for, like, a fair trial. But it's really ironic, because that's what those kids should have gotten, and they didn't get it. And now we're in this scenario where I want a fair trial to happen because people could get off claiming that it wasn't fair. It is so strange. It's so strange. What's interesting is that the lawyer who is representing the family, I looked him up, and he's got like 5 other wrongful death suits that he has against the police. He's got a profile under the William Richardson School of Law, so that seems kind of promising.
Local.
But I'm just worried I'm just worried that whoever leaked that, maybe not. I don't know like what the intentions were to have.
Was it a leak? Was the video leaked?
And
Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't
It was.
allowed.
I mean, it wasn't supposed to be
It wasn't
released.
supposed to be released at all.
Wow. So
Yeah.
it might not be admissible as evidence because it was of how it was obtained. If it was leaked.
Right. And the whole thing about them not wanting to release more stuff onto the media is because the public is already so like convinced already about what happened. And I think that now, no matter what happens, nobody's going to change their mind. Whatever they see is just going to further convince them of what they already believe. Like you saw it and it like just solidifies what you think, but other people see it and it solidifies that it was justified. Like there's no, it doesn't, we're only getting snippets of it, and it's a more complicated story, and the people who are supposed to be investigating it, yeah, I don't know. It's really hard. What's most painful for me is the public's reaction to it. It's very disappointing. The meanness of people, it's really shocking. But I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic. It's actually kind of spurred me to try to learn more about the legal system here. And I've been trying to attend more talks because, this is kind of coming on the wave of the Black Lives Matter movement and the recent George Floyd trial. So this topic is kind of hot right now, unfortunately. And so a lot of leaders in the law school, they're hosting all these webinars. So I've been trying to attend them, and it's really it's good to hear like these leaders in government and these legal professionals who are kind of a united mind that there needs to be more accountability, and there's definitely like racial inequity in Hawaii that needs to be fixed, because like Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders are being disproportionately arrested and killed and jailed by police officers. And the problem with the HPD and even that Ballard lady even said herself, they say that racism, this kind of stuff doesn't exist here in Hawaii because we're like this melting pot and we're just like this, we're so like used to loving each other, and that's like total bullshit. And that's what these people are saying. I'll share this information with you guys, like these links, but a lot of these Supreme Court, like the Supreme Court Justice, a lot of professors at UH and other professionals, they all are very alarmed by this. And it is a trend, I think, that's spreading across the United States. There's this recent PBS docuseries called Philadelphia DA. I highly recommend if anybody watches PBS, but it's following this really like progressive prosecutor who is like making waves, and I think it's like reflective of like this change that's happening, that's kind of looking to change the institution, looking closer at these laws and these things that are in place, that have been in place since like way back when things were way more racist and designed to keep people oppressed. And so like now that I'm learning more and trying to educate myself and being more active in like discussions, now when I see comments on Facebook, it doesn't really affect me as much, because it's like, bring it on. Go ahead and be more racist. Y'all are just gonna give us, like, time will tell. History will look back on you and like show you for the racist bigots that you are. Meanwhile, the rest of us will proceed into the future. Y'all are, a thing of the past. But yeah, how to fix that? I don't know. this issue. One of the things that people brought up was educating our youth, and I thought that was really interesting. And they were talking about educating our youth, like the Micronesian youth here in Hawaii and in the United States, about like the legal system here, law, like what is against the law. I don't know, maybe that's something I take for granted, that I am aware of what's illegal. But I was thinking about it, and like back home, it's true, you know, like you kill somebody, what happens? You apologize to the family.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that's kind of it. And you steal, then you get beat up. I don't know. But here it's like much different. You can get sent to prison for 20 years or life. And I don't know if, I don't know if everybody knows that. And it's kind of scary. But maybe something to focus on. I don't know. I'm sorry, I kind of went on there.
No, that's good stuff. It's good info. You guys have any thoughts on it?
Well, just referring back to the video, I was just really surprised, or at least from what we did see. Like you said, the guy who fired first fired from the back. He pretty much almost emptied his clip into the stuff with children. The one officer that you see in front of him to the right side of the car opens up, like you said, it's like he's trying to help. And then you can't see it, but they said, or I remember in the beginning, like you see cops to the left of the car too.
Mm.
Why is it, like you were saying, why is it that the first guy to offload is the guy with the worst vantage point? You would think that the guys on the sides would be first to respond, because usually in a lot of, because I watch a lot of these cop stuff, like just on YouTube, like their body cam footages of how they react, but it's usually always the guy who approaches the driver, that's usually first to react, and then your back guy is just your spotter. So if he sees it out, then he'd unload. But for the guy and that the back of the car looks, at least from the video, to be super tinted, like blacked out tint, where you can barely see. But then also it's just I don't know, the quality of the video camera, yeah. So that could be a big difference. But it really doesn't make sense that like the first person to engage is the one with the worst vantage point.
Right.
And then also if you look at the other cop on the side, that guy pretty much finishes all his 10 shots, and then the other guy starts pulling out when the car starts moving.
Right.
Yeah. So the guy's just there watching he hears the guns going out, and he has his hand on his weapon. He doesn't even draw yet, if you notice.
Right.
He's just holding on. And then when it starts moving, then he draws out, and then he pulls. Okay. And then he starts, it's like he gets worried about that. Mm. But then again, I don't know the law, or, how they're supposed to act, or their proper procedures, Miranda rights, all that stuff. But yeah, it just doesn't look right. It looks very racist, and
yeah, it doesn't look right. And I think you guys touched on the bigger problem, right? It's bigotry, racism, right? Because a lot of people say, oh no, it has nothing to do with that, because this is just a clear-cut criminals trying to get away, putting people's lives in danger, right? And the cops had to protect themselves and protect the community, and they did what was needed to be done, right? So that's from that's a perspective from a lot of folks who are commenting on the articles and the videos, right? But when we look at it, when I look at it at least, right? How do you justify killing a kid, right? But then I don't know. It's difficult, because did they know that they were kids? Did they know that those were kids driving that car? From what folks are saying, many of the locals are saying, to them, just think of it in a way that they weren't kids. They didn't think that they were kids, because they didn't know that they were kids, and they thought that they were armed, because they're coming off of another suspected armed robbery a few hours earlier.
Mm.
So with that information, if I was a cop and I was told that there was an armed robbery and the suspects are are trying to escape, I would be on high alert also.
Mm.
And if I get a clear shot, I would probably shoot. Yeah, I'm just being real. I would probably shoot. I would think about my family. I would think about wanting to get home, and then I would think I'm not gonna take the chance or the risk of getting up close and then these guys are gonna shoot me. But with all that said, you just said it. It's the guy that had the worst vantage point, right? He's not the only one thinking, I want to get home. His all the other cops are thinking that too. But they made it to the door, right? The door was open.
Yeah.
And it looked like one of the kids had their foot. It was about to come out of the door, But then, even at that point, the cop wasn't drawing his gun, right?
Yeah.
So the cop didn't see it as a threat.
Yeah.
He probably saw that the kid was coming out, trying to cooperate. But then that guy unloaded. So I don't know. It speaks about, like, do you have the right mentality to be a police officer? Do you have the right grit to be, carrying a weapon? Because these are. It's tough. It's just really tough. Sorry. Anything else?
Yeah, it's really hard to assess the situation without the other body cams.
Right.
That's really the truth. Like you're saying,
Yeah,
like
I think it's
we don't want to be like, this. I mean, just from what I saw, that's what I was saying. That's what it looked like from that angle.
Right.
But just to be honest, like with that in mind, coming off the sub, yeah, of course they're probably very at that high.
Tense.
Yeah, very high intensity. Just like a drop of a bottle or a popping tire will probably make that guy, burst off his rounds. But yeah, I think we just need more. But then the question is like how Natasha was saying earlier, like at what risk is it to the case and for justice to be put out there, for that video to be out there,
Yeah.
So I think.
That's okay. So why did they release this one?
But what if it's a leak?
Exactly.
Maybe they want to sway the other way.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that they try and play.
Exactly. Like so what's the game here, right? Are you trying to make this video inadmissible as evidence? Is that why you're releasing it, or are you trying to sway public perception in a different direction? Like, what's the play here? What's going on? Like, who released this video? Right? What's the game? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of it doesn't make sense.
I mean, it was stated in the news that it obviously was not released by HPD, but I forgot what it was. But let's say that the case was that a bystander that happened to be at the scene of the crime, if they had a footage of what happened from beginning to end, would that pressure HPD to release all body cam footage to kind of just like give their perspective of what happened from their point of view?
Right.
Wait,
Go ahead.
I
about
think
the
the
live?
words made all the
There's that
difference.
live.
Isn't that?
Oh,
Go ahead, Natasha. Sorry.
Oh no, I just thought of the George Floyd case and how that whole thing was captured by a bystander, and that's the
Right.
only reason why we know about it,
Right. Good
because
point.
they had body cams that would have never been shared, but it was like a bystander who recorded the whole thing. But yeah, I'm so curious about the other. Oh, I lost audio. Do you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
We can
You're
hear
good.
Yeah, I'm so interested in those other kids that were in the car. Like, they know exactly what happened. yeah, and I think it's impossible to tell what happened from the body cam footage. It's unclear at best, in my opinion.
Yep. You about to say something? Or,
Just a live video.
yeah, but like there was one of the suspects in the car was on Instagram Live. So we know that there is a, how should we say it?
Recording.
Yeah, a recording other than the body cams. There is video of the incident, and it's from inside the car. We only saw clips of it, but then I think the video was taken down because probably most likely it had a
Like
what-
violence.
Yeah,
or
violence
whatever,
was
yeah.
tagged for inappropriate. But it's where's that video? Like who has that video also? And is HPD holding on to that or good?
Yeah, and or if it's flagged by Instagram, would Instagram have a like get in the cloud? Would they be able to access that? Because you know how sometimes like I try and do stuff, or at least for my Instagram, I'm I'm a creator, so I have different standards or rules that I have to abide by. So like if I put like I don't know, say a a Lil Wayne song on one of my stories, it would be flagged because it's not my original music.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
So
copyright.
yeah, but you know, for that thing being flagged, do they still keep it? Like, is there like something that is in the cloud? Because what if they don't have it anymore, like on their phone? You know, because it doesn't usually when you record off of an app, it doesn't save directly to your phone.
Oh really?
Like
Yeah,
like if
I
you
don't
send a picture through, like Messenger or something like that, it's if you took it on the Messenger app, it won't save into your
Oh, I got you.
into your library or whatever.
But I think somebody mentioned that the video that we saw was someone screen
Screen
capturing
recording.
the live
Yeah.
recording. So it's a recording of the live recording. So that one could exist in someone else's phone.
Mm.
You know, so there's still a good chance that it's out there. Yeah. But would we want to see it? I think.
Well, I think whether we want to or not, you still need
It's
to
needed.
get
Yeah.
I mean, it just for all fairness and to see all angles.
Yeah.
Because right now it's coming from HPD, and HPD is just pretty much saying, yeah, you know, we're just they crashed into us, and they.
Do you guys think they're being honest, HPD, or do you guys think they're trying to cover their own people?
Oh,
Well-
of course, we protect your own. You never let. I mean, I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah.
I guess it's but you're when you come in that line, cops always take care of cops.
Well,
It's
there's
just
also
like-
one thing too is at least from city and county point of view, there's always like you are trained on liability issues, so everything you say will be broad. Like how you were talking about the chief was saying how things happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that because
It's not
there's
specific.
always cases against the state, city, county, so it's kind of like a training that everything you say, it's a little bit more broad, or you'll phrase it in a way where it'll be hard to pinpoint liability on you.
It's like a reasonable deniability, right? So you have enough room to deny that you said something, or deny that you meant something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Context, yeah. Deny the
So it helps also their case for whatever they're trying to do. It gives them leeway in either protecting or releasing. But they will always try to project themselves as the good guys because they are protecting everybody and they want to be able to establish that for the people. Because if you don't believe them, you won't be calling them for help. So yeah, they will phrase things in a way where it'll put them in the good light or good graces of people.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm trying. I'm trying to be. I'm trying to not be too biased, but when I listen to the police statement of the accounts, yeah, you have a good point. They're being very broad. They're watching their words. But there are some important things that, because they all must have seen the video, the body cams, right? So there are some important details that they left out of their statements. For example, the car wasn't moving, right? The car wasn't moving, and the first officer to shoot shot from behind the car. Those are important details, right? And so they left those details out of their statement, out of their public statement. So when I saw the footage, I lean towards HPD is just looking out for themselves. They're trying not to, they're trying to cover or take care of their own.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I thought. I'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah. I mean,
I was gonna say totally 100%. That's nobody wants to look bad. Nobody wants to
Right.
admit to mistakes. That's just like human nature. Yeah. And especially they're supposed to be knowing what they're doing. They're never going to want to admit that they had made a mistake. So 100% I believe they're covering up. And yeah,
it's I don't know.
I think our HPD, there's something special about them. I think what's happening now is very important. And yeah.
There was something I wanted to say
What?
about media coverage, like Hawaiian News Now, KITV. I think the media coverage has been good. I think they've been covering it fairly. And
Lately.
yes, like before, I mean, go back to our old videos, right? Like Hawaiian News has not been good with covering like
Racial.
right, and especially Micronesian, the Kofa migrants, and they have a bad history of that. So I'm trying to wonder now, are they doing a better job? Because have they corrected themselves? Have they gotten better? Or, as Natasha pointed out, is this coming off of the George Floyd incident, the Black Lives Matter incident? So, what happened? What changed Hawaiian News, their reporting? Was it like residents pushing back on how poorly they covered Kofa immigrants, the Kofa migration stories, or was it, did it come from the U.S., the mainland? I'm trying to figure that out because I think it's also important because they're the ones that capture the story and they choose how to cover it. So they went to the family of the boy that died and they interviewed them. I thought that was good. That was a good thing for them to do, and I'm trying to see their angle because they're tying this to a bigger story of racism, police brutality, police violence, and it's an American story, So it's not a unique Hawaii state story. They're trying to. It looks like they're trying to tie it into the bigger problem of police brutality. So I think I wanted to point that out.
I think the difference between back then and now is there have been a lot more advocates for our community. I would say you guys are included in that. But people like Josie, Howard, and Jojo, Peter, like those people have done a lot to inform people about who we are. And so, yeah, I think that's what's changed a lot. I do think the media, I kind of feel like there's been a lot of attention to it, and now I don't know how good it is because now all this stuff is potentially jeopardizing prosecution and a fair trial. I don't know. but
Yeah.
Hawaii is different. It did Black Lives Matter isn't the same here, but I am aware that like this issue has been here since forever with like Native Hawaiians and a bunch of other non I don't want to say it.
Just say it.
A lot of people have been oppressed here
Yeah.
by institutions, so that's why I think it resonates so much and why I think it has a lot of attention here. But yeah. dot. I'll leave it there.
Got it. I think I said as much as I wanted to say on the subject. If you guys had more things to say.
Well, I think that was a pretty productive first run after a while.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to look forward to what the next things we're going to be talking about in the next podcast. If we can have everybody else join in too.
Yeah, it'll be nice. We have some plans for the near future and the far future. We'll try to get some more guests on. That'll be fun. And did you guys have something you guys wanted to throw in before we part ways? I think we've been at it for about 2 hours now.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot you can discuss.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the good thing about the podcast is it doesn't always have to be so serious. And I know Natasha has been talking about great ideas and what to cover for podcasts.
Right. Yeah.
So it doesn't always have to be so serious. We can actually change it up.
I'm actually down with the drinking party.
I did not think this was going to...
It's not water.
Straight vodka.
I did not know this was going to be serious. For the record, I did not know this was going to be serious until like 2 hours before we started. Then Sammy's like, research and shootings. I'm like, oh shit. And yeah, I was not.
No, it's not serious, man.
So to clarify, are we posting this? Because
For ourselves.
Not now. Not anymore. No.
I contaminated it. Yeah, I thought we were testing. Connection, meeting each other.
Yeah,
I thought we were.
How it fares when we post it. Yeah. I think it's good. We covered some good stuff. We said some good stuff. There are a lot more things.
We can cover it again.
Yeah. That's not a problem.
I will be more prepared next time. I will be able to explain vaccines better.
Vaccines better, right?
And the immune system.
Coming with like a chart and everything. Be like, hey guys.
I can do that.
Nice. Yeah, we can do that.
I can do that. I'm not gonna do that. No, I take it back. I'm not gonna do that. Y'all use the internet. Go to CDC. Look up how vaccines work. Look how testing works.
They are the problem.
Yeah. If you guys have questions, I heard a lot like I don't know this, I don't know that.
Yeah.
I swear. Look it up. Google. You guys are so tech savvy. You guys are more tech savvy than I am.
But that's
the
where we get all the
reliable,
conspiracy
reliable
theories.
sources. Exactly. So reliable sources. Ask your doctors, ask your people. But yeah, I hope this doesn't get posted.
This is a great post. I think we should close out.
Get a hit,
Yeah. So, how do we do this? Bye. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. This was fun. I enjoy these all the time, even though sometimes I look like I'm having the worst time of my life. It's usually because I'm just nervous. But you know, I love these connections. I love sitting down.
I really enjoy that we all have different views, and that's great.
I don't
because-
agree with that.
I didn't say I said I enjoy that we have different
Yeah,
views
okay.
because everyone else that's going to be viewing is the same thing. They'll side with one person, they'll side with another, and I like that there's differences on the podcast because that's how it is out there in the world.
Yeah, so that's hopefully we can get more people on, so we can hear more views, like more perspectives. That's always nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna bring up Secession in this because I think somebody said
Oh,
something
Oh,
about
next
Secession.
podcast, next
Yeah.
podcast.
I was like, boom! My mind just
Next one,
like
next one.
Secession.
We'll be a lot more prepared with our
Yeah.
topics.
Yeah, but I think that's a really good.
And
thing
research
to-
will be a lot
Yeah,
better
on
if we have the
Secession.
topics
Is
ahead
it
of
dead?
time.
Yeah, that's one question.
Yeah.
Is it?
Is it dead?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Okay,
sorry.
research
yeah.
for the next one.
Stay tuned. That's the camera.
Oh, sorry.
Stay
You're telling
tuned.
me.
I'm telling
You're
you.
telling you.
Tasha,
Stay
you.
tuned.
Stay tuned.
So I think we
Sorry.
should do like a run through, saying goodbye. Thanks, Nat, Yusu. Thanks, Chris. I hope you become a regular. This was
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
We'll see.
Charity, thank you. Thanks,
Thank you,
Hiro.
Sam.
Thanks.
Hiro,
Thank
Yuki,
you,
Marty.
Claire.
Yeah, thanks, Hero.
Claire, thanks. Thanks, everybody. This was fun. It's always fun. Be kind in the comment section. Throw in some ideas, some suggestions if you guys want to join.
Right? Topics.
Yeah, it's always fun. The more, the merrier. So you guys want to close out? Anything you wanted to say?
Yeah.
Good.
Subscribe to the channel.
Yes. Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Subscribe. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook.
Like and subscribe.
Are we on Twitter? I think we're on Twitter.
I don't know if it's been active, but yeah.
Yeah. We have a website.
Yes, we are on Twitter. We
Okay. How about you, Nat? You look like you want to say something.
It's just sinking in now that you guys are gonna post this.
Cheers.
Yeah, these things are always fun.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I do it. Like I am a very private person. I do not enjoy the fact that this is going out to the world or whatever, but it's always super fun,
Yeah.
which is why I keep doing it. But Charity, it was so nice to finally meet you, and Chris, it was very nice
Yes.
to meet you.
Likewise.
It was very
Likewise.
interesting to hear. Yeah, your thoughts, and oh my goodness, yeah, I can't wait to do this again. I'm glad you guys have something set up.
That was fun. This is fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
So that's it.
Stay tuned.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out. See you guys.